Yeah. Excellent. Nice one. There we go. First live show in the new studio. Wasn't even looking when we started. Welcome. It's the Matchday live show. Liverpool taking on Southampton at St Mary's this afternoon. So we're going to be with you all the way up to kick-off. We've got kick-off. Fucking hell. Sensational start. We've got Chris over there and Tactics Corner. But first, let me introduce the people I've got in the studio. We've got Ryan Bromlow. Hello, mate.
Nice to meet you,
Yeah.
Balls and pieces.
We've got Neil Poole and we've got Dan Kennett as well. Dan's come on with a pint, so he's well prepared for what Chris is about to drop on us, which is Brendan Rodgers' tip pick for the starting 11 today. Chris, Brendan Rodgers basically trolling us all with his team. Do you want to just talk us through it?
Yeah, Simon Mignolet in goal, Chan, Skrtel and Lovren at the back. Ivan Markovic is the two wing backs with Hendo and Allen in the centre, Coutinho and Lallana behind Raheem Sterling.
Ludicrous. Just the most ludicrous team selection I think I've ever seen. Dan, we were talking because they were talking on the build-up show this week about whether putting Balotelli up top alongside others might be a bit gung-ho.
Yeah.
No, basically just get all the attack. Nobody predicted that team and nobody could have.
No. The front three, I'm just trying to think when we played United in the league, Old Trafford, is that the same three there? Because we definitely played, it was the first time Sterling played centre forward, wasn't it, Old Trafford? And I'm trying to think, was it Lallana and Coutinho behind it? It might well have been.
Yeah.
But, so you're thinking, well, Sterling's out, but their strength is their centre-backs and centre midfield, and he's playing up against these big lads, so it could be a real... We'll have to see how it goes, but the key thing is the change in the defence, I think.
To be fair, that's not what your initial reaction was.
No, it was. Oh my fucking Christ! It's Lovren. No, Lovren. It's all about Lovren, isn't it? Oh my God. So, just got to hope that he's a bit rehabilitated and maybe he's a little bit. Because honestly, I was saying it's difficult to think of a worse Liverpool centre back, and all the time I've been watching. I was thinking Nicky Tanner, Torben Picnic. No, and
Glenn Shane.
Worse. I always think it was that bad. What you were watching, because he was misjudging basic high balls and challenges, and he just didn't. So taking him out has been the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's just a question of how much he's got his game back together.
Well, to be fair to Lovren, Neil, he's had chances off the bench recently. He's not looked shit. We've kind of got no option by the looks of it. Sacco apparently picked up a knock, so I think that's been a bit of an enforced decision, but he's going to have to come back into the side at some point.
Yeah.
So why not against his whole team?
I think the reality with Lovren is that the Lovren barometer at the moment is, in the last few games he's come on, he hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't been completely shit from the level that he was at. That's a fair sort of barometer.
Baby steps.
Exactly. And if
it's the Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're being positive, the Lovren coming in now isn't the same as Lovren playing in November, because the whole team is much more stable. The formation is stable, the ideas are stable, the patterns of play seem to be more stable, and under that stability you have seen players who we'd previously sort of thrown under the truck, like Mignolet. He's got his form back now. I'm not saying that necessarily means that's going to happen to Lovren, but it doesn't quite put the shits up me. It happening today.
I agree. It could be the system. He could be better in this system than he was in the old system before.
This is the thing. I mean, right, we've seen in the last decade, we've seen an increased number of Liverpool players turning public opinion. It goes back to Lucas Leiva, Jordan Henderson as well, even Mario Balotelli in the last 2 weeks. Lovren, we spent a lot of money on him. Yes, he's been awful, but he does deserve the opportunity to get it right.
For a 20 million price tag on him.
Coming back in, he's got to have that opportunity. Balotelli, I didn't think we were going to give him an opportunity, but he's come back. He's fit and he's fine, even though he's arguing about penalties. But we'll get to that later. But you've obviously got to give him the opportunity, otherwise, £20 million wasted, isn't it?
Well, I think that's it. I think there's a sort of, Chris, to a certain extent, rehabilitation's great and it's noble, but you kind of have to you'd have to try, don't you? As Ryan says, that's a lot of money to basically just say, nah, 6 months, not good enough, see you later.
Well, that's it, and we know that Brendan Rodgers, if the players are doing it in training, they'll give them an opportunity on the pitch as well. So, you know, I think he's obviously playing well in training. He's played well when he's been given his opportunities in the last 3 games. He's looked good with the ball at his feet. He hasn't dithered around in any way, shape or form. His tackling looks right. That being said, though, he has been playing on the right of 3, and now I know that he's supposed to have been a left centre back anyway, so hopefully he'll look even better and more comfortable on that side now. And the only thing that worries me about it is that, you know, Markovic is playing in an unfamiliar position, and he's backed up by Lovren probably. And that, for me, is a little bit of a worry because there's 2 players there.
How much you've enjoyed our left-hand side.
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean, every time I've seen Sacco with Moreno and Coutinho, nice little triangles and stuff like that, and that's what I've enjoyed watching, and watching us build from the back there, and I just don't know whether Markovic and Lovren have played together enough for that understanding to have grown, basically, and that's something that I need to see from him today.
Yeah, and we've not even touched upon the fact that Daniel Sturridge isn't in the team. We were talking about whether it be Sturridge and Balotelli. Neither of them both.
I mean, I went to the what was the last time we played?
Besiktas.
No, the one before that. Sorry,
Spurs.
Yeah, Spurs. And I thought against Spurs, he was like, he didn't even look like about 30% fit. You know, he didn't look. He looks like a shadow of himself and all that. And obviously, he needs games.
Yeah.
I got this theory that anytime you're out for anything like a length of time, 2 months of an injury or more, it takes you the same time again. So you're out for 2 months, it takes you another 2 months to your previous level. You know, if you had an ACL, for example, you're out for 6 months. You know, you got a massive recovery period. Yeah. So it just seems that maybe you could see he's not going to be 100% sharp for this, and he didn't look sharp against Besiktas.
No, I mean, I suppose that's fair, isn't it? I mean, Chris and I sat here. We didn't even mean to. We were doing the final word show. We spent the best part of the first 10 minutes talking about how bad Daniel Sturridge was, and yet, you know, he is a threat. And I think the immediate reaction to seeing that team is a downbeat one, simply because he's not in.
I mean, that's true. His touch was terrible against Besiktas. I mean, like, everything he touched was sort of going straight. There was a lot of people sort of around me at the game sort of kicking off, and I did actually say he has been out for 4 months. Yeah. You know, and he's already probably done more in the sort of few games he's been back than you would have expected. But I mean, I kept that the lad next to me was bigger and looked harder, so I just left it. But again, glass half full. Don't get me wrong, I'd rather he was starting, and I'd rather Sacco was starting. Yeah. But they're not, so live with it. But at the same time, we've got Sturridge to bring off the bench. Yeah. So you talk about we might be a bit down now, but if he comes on and sort of we need a goal, you know, to sort of take us from 3-0 to 4-0, for example, you know, like with 20 minutes to go, he comes on, all of a sudden that does G up the team.
I think
hopefully we need to still be in the game up to the point that maybe he comes on.
Well, it's a good point, isn't it, Ryan? And the fact is, it's not like we've been in free scoring form since Sturridge has come back anyway. You know, so, you know, we were playing good, we were playing some decent football at the time with Sterling up front, so it's not like we're going back to Barini holding the line on his own up front. We've got Sterling there, he's proved a capable understudy, and we've got Sturridge to come on if needs be.
Well, we've got him on the bench.
That is the glass half full. Look at that, absolutely.
We've got him on the bench, and the problem, I thought he was going to play a different system today and put Balotelli and Sturridge up front. Yeah. So it quite did surprise me that Sturridge is not playing. I thought he was going to put Coutinho on the bench as well, because he's burnt him out the last 8 or 9 games. He run into the ground because he just gets fouled so many times. I don't know about Eden Hazard being the most foul player in the Premier League. I think it's Philip Coutinho.
Brendan Rodgers needs to get on goals on Sunday and let that be known, doesn't he?
But yeah, he is an asset and an outlet that we can bring on. But we've obviously got to get the groundwork in to cement him coming on if we're in 2 or 3-0 up, and that's going to be difficult against a Southampton team who like to attack us as well. I noticed
they don't concede goals either.
I noticed that they don't like park the bus sides more than anything, because they play it more to the right in terms of Nathaniel Klein, and they try and cross it in. They like to attack teams, so Liverpool will be.
That's going to be interesting. Klein against Markovic. That's going to be very interesting, I think.
Yeah.
He's powerful. He's powerful.
What's interesting, and this will fall flat if you've not seen their team, is they've gone for the target man up front. Anyone? No. The man's got his contact. Chris, I mean, you made a point off air before we went on whether Brendan Rodgers has prefaced the Europa League with this side.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it? I mean, you know, and you can't argue with it. I mean, Sturridge is going to need a break at some point, as Dan correctly says. He needs a long time to get fit. 2 games within 4 days of each other is probably not going to help his fitness levels in any way, shape or form. You know, we do need to go through. We need to attack on all fronts. If this is the team that Brendan Rodgers think can go out and win the game, and he's proved right, then we won't be talking about it. And it's a great decision by Brendan Rodgers. The fact is, we're talking before the game. It's all up in the air, and to a Liverpool fan like me, it looks like we're preferencing the Europa League, and I want to see us preference the top 4, especially after the results that have gone down this weekend already.
The only thing I would say, on that one would say Moreno. I mean, I thought it's a really odd one for Moreno to not start, considering he's up against Klein as well. Because I thought, well, why couldn't Moreno have missed Palace? Or, you know, I thought he looked like he needed a break, but it's a bit of an odd one for him to give him, unless he's got a knock or something. But he's on the bench. Is he on the bench?
Yeah.
That is subs. In fact, Chris, do you want to just go through the substitutes bench with us first?
Yeah, no problem. We've got Ward, Glenn Johnson, Kolo Touré, Ricky Lambert, Daniel Sturridge, Alberto Moreno, and Mario Balotelli. So we've got, what's that? 2 full-backs, 1 centre-back, and 3 forwards on the bench.
And Balotelli with too many L's.
Wasn't me who typed it.
So once again, the just before someone will mention it, thought we'd get that in there first. So there you go, Moreno.
Yeah, so obviously he's not injured if he's on the bench. So it you know, I mean, maybe he trusts Markovic going up against Klein. I don't know, but
we've done this constantly. All anyone ever goes on about is how, you know, Europa League burnout and the European hangover and all that, and no one ever seems to have a definitive answer on how to combat that. Is it maybe because it's Southampton and it's such an important game that we're maybe second guessing what he's done a bit too much?
I don't know, but you know, you think we've had since New Year, we've had Lallana go out with a thigh injury, I think it was, Lucas with a thigh, Gerrard with a hamstring, and Sacco with a hip now, and none of them really, they've all sort of played, got injured, and then they've just changed. You know, we've got such a schedule, such a packed schedule. There's no time to recover and get over knocks and stuff. And I don't know. You just got to maybe just leave players out every now and again. I'm going to say 1 or 2 players a game, so like every player plays 3 games in 4 or something like that. So you don't have to weaken the team. Just make sure people get a week, maybe a full week to recover at some points and stuff. But there's so many times, like all those players, especially Lallana and Gerrard, definitely played into an injury for overplaying.
But you look at...
And now Sacco's injured.
Yeah. Well, you'd hope that's just a knock, I suppose.
Yeah,
so
some of the games recently,
he
was down for treatment, wasn't he? And he came off in another game. He came off in the Chelsea game, didn't he? In the sub. And another game he had massive treatments, didn't he? And so he's obviously been picking up some bumps and bruises as well. Coutinho as well. Like Coutinho comes off against Everton. When we really needed, not only just because it's the derby, but we needed the points. Yeah. And then and then he plays every game after as well. So this.
It does. That's it. It doesn't feel like squad rotation as much. You know what I mean? Because you're right. I think we'd have seen it evidenced a little bit more before. I mean, let us know your thoughts on that. You watching at home. I want to know what your take is on the team selection. Is it ultimately, you know, we'll find out whether it's the right decision or not. But looking at some of the decisions made in that, obviously it's exciting.
Very exciting team.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at it from the other side, I mean, obviously, because we're Liverpool supporters, you always look at it from the Liverpool point of view. But if I was a Southampton supporter now, I'd be quite worried about Markovic and Ibe. I mean, that's 2 wing backs that are pretty much saying, "Fucking go on," you know what I mean?
Well, you look at it as an attacking 5: Ibe, Coutinho, Lallana, Sterling, Markovic.
Plenty of pace there.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, Lallana's the slowest player in that, and
all of them can run. All of them can dribble. Beat a man. All of them.
I think as well is we were winning games. That's very much a sort of pre-Sturridge coming back from 5. That's just, you know, that's essentially the players sort of who were playing just before he came back. And this run we've been on hasn't just started with Sturridge coming back.
No.
And
Swansea.
He has played a lot of games. I mean, I was thinking the same thing about I don't know if he's prioritising the Europa League, but it certainly looks to me that he's put it on a level with the league. And he has played a lot of games. I mean, I was surprised that he played 90 minutes on Thursday night, but the fact he did shows that he really wanted to get the win, and he kept them on pretty much until the end. So I wouldn't say he's prioritised them. I think maybe he's just putting them all on an equal level. And we've got a squad. We've been going on in the summer about how we needed a better squad, about how we couldn't change it round last year. And as much as some players maybe haven't tickled our fancy and such, you know, you've got to like... That's just me there, bag moment. Yeah.
Didn't Joey Barton do something similar to that?
Joey. So, you've got to use this squad, and if Sacco's out with injury, I mean, I think we're playing well enough, and there's a continuity enough that this is the time where maybe you can risk it. Now, hopefully it doesn't sort of come flying back on us later, but I'm not made up with it, but there must be a plan behind it. There must be a plan there.
The sports scientists behind the scene, we do this quite often, who know a lot more than we do about what's going on. Yeah. And I think, if nothing else, the Daniel Sturridge thing's probably that. It's that don't get this guy back after 4 months and burn the fucker out after 3 weeks or whatever. Like, you've got to ease him back into it to some degree.
But hopefully they also know the reason why Lucas got injured, why Lallana got injured, and why Gerrard got injured, and hopefully they know that and they can tell. It's the same thing. I agree. Absolutely, Sturridge is a really good kid. He needs to be. He's so valuable. He needs to be managed really carefully.
Absolutely. I think the immediate fear is just Chris not seeing him there. You immediately go, I think, he's on the bench. It's fine.
And we're looking at basically playing one of the strongest defence in the league with no strikers. I was just going to come over to the YouTube comments, but this flashed up in front of me. So it has been 19 years, 9 months, 1 day, 23 hours, 2 minutes and 3 seconds since Everton last won a trophy. There you go.
Couple of minutes left.
We'll come back and check on that later on in the show.
Just see if it changed. Have you got anything else lined up for us?
Zidhog on YouTube comments, the fact that he spent so much on so many players, we should expect rotation, but yet we are all still annoyed. Yeah, good point there. Jamie Murphy, Coutinho needs a rest. The poor lad clearly hasn't had his brekkie for the last couple of games. And instigator DJ001, Moreno should be rested as Markovic can't play in Europe.
That's a good point, actually. I thought that, I think there's probably been a certain amount of that's been forced, but I thought, Chris, that he would come in for Ibe. I thought that would have been the obvious
well, Ibe's the best player though at the moment.
Is to be considered. Twitter in a minute?
Yeah, in 1 minute.
Fantastic. I mean, it is. It's some of it's really bold, although I do wonder what the alternatives would be.
Yeah, can I just say on the rotation thing? I agree that rotation is a must, but I think when you're forced to rotate through injury, that's not actually rotation.
Yeah.
Because you've actually got no other choice but to put somebody in because the guy's got injured.
Yeah. So
rotation would be rotating the players before they actually got injured.
Sturridge has been rotated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but
definitely.
The rest.
Moreno as well.
So I suppose all told, they're the I mean, Lovren's enforced. Yeah. It's either Lovren or what? Torre that comes in. Yeah. Or Johnson maybe.
No.
So there you go. Who is the lesser of the evils in that position? Is it Lovren? Probably is. Torre, I suppose.
Yeah, the thing is, you've got to think maybe he's going to take on with because he's against his former team, but he left under bad circumstances, didn't he? So he acted like a bit of a knobhead before he left, didn't he?
Well, his head was in Liverpool, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so, I mean, Lallana was not exactly a great exit, was it? Lallana wasn't...
You know, to lesser though, that makes everything alright.
Right, yeah. But I think
Lallana took an advert in the paper.
Lovren's going to get pelters anyway today, I'm sure, from them.
Well, maybe that's what he needs. You see, I was talking with my dad about this, like Balotelli. Brendan Rodgers singled him out again for criticism, didn't he, in the week? He had his best game in a Liverpool shirt, and Brendan Rodgers said after he scored the goal, he switches off. Like, I'm thinking, get it, Brendan. Good. Maybe these players need a little bit of a fucking. Maybe that'll be a good thing for Lovren, Ryan. Sometimes, having a cuddle just isn't the answer. Maybe he does need to be treated like an absolute dickhead, and maybe that'll gym him up.
Well.
You don't agree, it's fine.
No, to some extent. For example, with Mario Balotelli, I think it has worked with him saying, look, that's not good enough. You don't strive for this, you strive for better than that. And then once he's got to that pedestal, you keep improving. And I wouldn't put it past Dejan Lovren to score the winner here today. Paul go into the box and he scores another.
That's when he takes a penalty off Henderson to fucking do it, though. Imagine the uproar. On that, actually, we obviously done that to death. Everyone's over that now, surely, aren't they? The Balotelli penalty thing. Was anyone that arsed at the time?
Well, I mean, it was only when I came back home and watched Sky TV and just looked on Twitter. I didn't realise that it was such a big deal, and that's often the way, isn't it? Yeah. It's only sort of when it's like the television creates this sometimes and all that. I mean, I could see something was going on, and I did say to my brother at the time, as soon as the penalty got taken, who actually takes this? So the fact that there was some sort of confusion wasn't a massive surprise because I was wondering who was going to take it. But now we scored.
He just looks bad on the telly. Then again, you can see it was on ITV1, and he just looks bad. He just looks a bit amateurish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you like to think we're a bit better than that. A drilled professional outfit,
Yeah.
a crack outfit.
Like the fucking 80s of football. Like,
especially when you're taking a piss out of Everton.
Exactly.
A few weeks earlier.
You always want to think that you're really well drilled and well prepared, and everybody knows what they're doing to the nth degree and stuff. But the thing I thought was just as bad was what Gerrard did in the studio afterwards. Surely the press department should be saying, no player from now on in contracts is coming on to comment on a Liverpool game, working. He could go and work on a Tottenham game, or he could go and work on an Everton game, comment on them. But just no active player, because we could do that with their contracts. Don't do it. It's just stupid.
Yeah. Well, do you think common sense should override in those situations, shouldn't it? I'd look at
But all the players should have media training, don't they?
Yeah, but Gerrard's had plenty of time injured. He's been on Sky plenty of times. He's done this and that. He should know better. He's a 34, going on 35-year-old professional footballer. He never says anything interesting. When's Gerrard ever said anything inflammatory or remotely interesting on television?
Started last year, didn't he? With his his all the best and all that sort of he started creeping in last year and at the start of the season last year.
No, but I'd love him to swing his cock around more on telly, like figuratively speaking. I think he should, because he has that power, but it should be used for good. You know what I mean? He shouldn't use it for the dark side to power comments against Liverpool.
No, he just took something that looked bad and then just poured a bit of petrol on the flames and just stuff.
I think everyone missed the point with the Gerrard thing, because I was just sitting there thinking, how does Peter Reid get paid to come on? Because he was literally like one of the fellas who queues up at 9 o'clock outside Wetherspoons, has a few, and then just says he just goes, get stuck in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally
I saw that lineup, and you think over the years, like Sky are getting better at Taylor in the studios, even though they still fill it full of shite. But that one, it was like Gordon Strachan and Peter Reid. What are they doing there? Who's thought?
With a beard.
But who's thought? You know who's going to be the best people for this game? Gordon Strachan and Peter Reid. These are going to be the real ones. These are going to give us the insight we need into Liverpool versus Besiktas.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's mesmerising, because Peter Reid's got that. Isn't it like your ears and your nose never stop growing, but the rest of you and it's just like you're just like what? Just getting bigger and bigger. He's like a caricature. Or something.
If anyone's ever seen Toy Story 2, he basically looks like the guy that fixes Woody's arm in that way. You know what I mean? That's basically.
I don't know. He's more like Caesar from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
That's it. Chris, shall we go to Twitter? We've neglected it badly.
At Blaze Duck. What the fuck is Rodgers doing not playing Toure instead of Lovren? Playing Lovren is like one less man. Should play Johnson at centre forward. I think he is fucking blazed and Will Honeywell. I bring in Colo for Skirtle. He hasn't looked at his best in recent weeks. I think Skirtle's been brilliant. And then one for the studio. Megan at MRC316. What are the Twitters for everyone on the live show?
That's a great question.
Usually superimpose it on the screen.
After.
Yeah, but this is live, mate.
Impose it badge, yeah.
Will I? Ryan, you on Twitter?
Don't want any abuse, to be quite honest.
Oh, right, After Redmen TV for Ryan. We'll care about the Redmen TV. Hope that's answered enough questions for you in that regard. What was the second point made actually? The first point about the Lovren Toure thing. I get it, but for me it's another example of I get where that guy's coming from. That the negativity surrounding Lovren's kind of fine. It's become a bit of a you get these sort of seasons. You get these like common narratives where people accept something as ultimate. Untaintable sort of truth.
Yeah.
This is an absolute in footy, whereas there's no absolutes in football and that. There's not even absolutes in the offside rule anymore. It's and so players like that, Lovren is literally 90 minutes away from making himself a first team regular for Liverpool as far as I'm concerned.
I think with Toure though, if you play Toure, you'd have to move Emre as well, and you don't want to move Emre, so you'd have to so if you got to replace Sakho, the obvious one is Lovren, isn't it?
So, like for like,
yeah. So with the least disruption to the defence, the system's the same, and he could, in theory, touch wood, he can slot in, and just do the same job.
I think Lovren's problem in terms of perception of him is that at no point has he played really well, and then he's dipped. He sort of started off quite well.
Borussia Dortmund, he looked like the greatest centre-half.
Yeah, but he started off quite well, didn't he? Yeah. And then it dipped. So when people are calling for Toure, which I understand, it's like, you know, we've seen Toure play well. I don't know, even someone like...
But I think people forget as well, we've seen Toure in that back three. You know, we saw it against Man United when Johnson went off, and I know that was very early doors in that style, but he's at least limited, isn't he? Colo. I love Colo.
At least, yeah, he can distribute the ball quite well, because, you know, if you play in Arsenal, and Arsenal's invincibles, you've got to be able to pass the ball quite well. So, but Lovren, you know, I think one of the things is that we did have the worst start for 50 years, and he was pretty much an ever-present in that worst start. So, I mean, okay, there's no absolute. I agree with you, there's no absolutes, but he's very, very, very close to being an absolute there. And that's what you're talking about. Frode Kipper and Nicky Tannen and Torben Picknick.
Frode Kipper never got a chance. We always wanted to see. You're talking more Jean-Michel Ferry, albeit slightly further up the pitch. Yeah. He got his one chance in a end of season friendly.
Here's a question. I'll go back. Did Nicky Tannen and Picknick ever play together?
That's fine.
Because I know it was Mark,
you know what?
Tanner
For the best.
The time, yeah. I was trying to look at, and I couldn't actually.
Do you know what? I don't know.
I'll
just like. Yeah, she did. She did dance there.
You've deleted it from your memory banks.
Should we go and get a pint? Just a quick show of hands in the room. Anyone remember Nicky Tanner playing for Liverpool?
Well, I remember it.
We're all bastards here.
The over 30s in the room all remember that. Definitely look him up. He was described by my uncle, I think, as a slug with hair. Was Nicky Tanner back in the day?
He was picked out by Jan Moby as well, wasn't he? As the worst player he's ever played with. Yeah.
So this is what I mean. If you think Lovren's that bad, and he's not been great, to be fair, you know, we have had a whole host of god awful players who play in that position over the years. So maybe he's just the next in line to the throne.
Get him on the show.
What?
Get him on the show.
Get him on the show. Yeah. Don't show him this. I wonder how much he is. Couple of pints.
Yeah, exactly.
Nicky Tanner over here for everyone.
Yeah.
Look,
that's
particularly like a slug with hair. There you go. There's Nicky Tanner.
Yeah. It's those.
It's terrible, guys.
It's the Shane Warne.
All the highlights. Yeah.
Very fashionable young man. But that was all the rage amongst Liverpool defenders around the time, wasn't it? Blonde perms
being
and all
shit.
that.
Bit of bouffons, mullet. Yeah.
Right, yeah, keep your thoughts and comments and all that coming in on YouTube alongside the video or by tweeting us at the Redmen TV as well. Ryan, this is I mean, without understating it too much, it's a massive game.
Yeah, it is in terms of our top four hopes. Tottenham wasn't a must win, but you know, it was great to get that win in the end. This is for me because Southampton have just came into it. They are obviously not last season. They weren't contenders. No, I didn't think anyway. They are real contenders now.
We've expected them to drop off, and if they were shit, they'd have dropped off by now. Yes. I think's the point. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the point, isn't it, Dan? That you look at those teams who top four. Look, City and Chelsea.
They're gone
the top two, isn't it? Like, you know, but you then look at the minute the real contenders look like Southampton, Man United and Arsenal are the one, and then it's I think it's up to us and maybe Spurs to make, I think, to really force our way into that.
This, as the Americans would say, this is a win or go home match for us, right? Because if they're already 4 points ahead of us with a massive goal difference advantage, 15 goal difference. So if they win today, we'll effectively have to make up 8 points in 12 games. And considering we've only made up 5 points in the previous 12 games, we can forget that.
Yeah.
You know, it's such an unbelievably huge game for the context of our season. If we win it, we are probably favourites ahead of Southampton, and also then because we've got the game against United at Anfield, we're in control of our destiny then vis-a-vis us and United.
Yeah.
So a draw would be okay. But then we got no margin for error again. The other head-to-heads against Arsenal and United and stuff, and then the City game becomes bigger because we didn't win this. But it's a must not lose.
Yeah.
Definitely a must not lose. But if we can win it, we become real serious contenders for the fourth place, or even third and fourth, to be honest.
Yeah. I think they're both sort of.
They're still up for grabs. Both are still up for grabs. Yeah. Arsenal are making a move.
But you looking at the results this weekend as well, Neil, in particular. You know, Spurs dropping points. Man United finally losing a game as well, and some of their fans calling for Van Gaal's head. Sensational. But you know, we've been waiting for an opportunity like this. It's kind of annoying that it's come when we've got such such a tough game, I suppose. What you really want is teams to drop points and then you go away to this some dead rubber against some relegation candidates that you smash everywhere. But, you know, it's just added fuel to the fire of how important this game is.
Certainly, and that's been the frustration for the last 6 weeks or so, is that I think the last time we had the chat when a load of the other teams dropped points is when we were 2-0 up against Leicester, and it ended up 2-2, and that's why that result was particularly galling, and for me probably the worst one of the season so far. And that was the last weekend when a couple of them dropped points, and I'm sure it might have been the three of them actually dropped points. And it gets to the point in the season where we're running out of games now. It's like you said, when you just say 12 games, you realise how few that is, and then when you look at the points, and like you said, Southampton had their blip before Christmas when they played the teams who...
They lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, when they were above them. But then they bounced back from it. So they're not going anywhere, I don't think. Spurs are probably on a par with us. Arsenal are just...
The big hope, we were discussing this earlier, Chris, is that Spurs win the League Cup and the season basically implodes.
That's what you want to see from Tottenham. I mean, look, we're all talking about it now. You don't get many weekends during the Premier League season where the 3 teams that you're challenging with, 3 of the 4 teams drop points. I'm happy at Southampton. I really am, because they'd have probably gone and won a game somewhere else. Yeah. You know, so Tottenham dropping points, Man United drop points, and we can beat Southampton. That's a 6-point swing on Southampton in my eyes. Yeah. So I think it's important.
6 pointer today,
yeah, it is a 6-pointer, and look, they're a good side, and we've got to show them respect. But we've got to go out there and try and win the game, regardless if the player's on the pitch at the end of the day. And I think Rodgers has done that. I think he's probably formulated some type of plan. He'll be happy with his setup, and we've just got to go out there and put it into fruition.
I think this is the thing, is that almost as long as we stick with the system, the personnel are more or less the same as what we've been doing for the last couple of months now. We've proven that we can be a solid and formidable team. There's still no goals, but there haven't been goals, so I don't think there's any massive difference.
The system is key. Yeah, is really fun. And I think in this game, I don't think Southampton have the personnel, the way they play, to exploit the weaknesses of the 3 at the back that we play. They don't have really flying wingers who can get behind us and cause us trouble. They have some decent fullbacks. Their team is all about their defence. They've got the best defence in the league, better than Chelsea, most clean sheets in the league, the most shots conceded, fewest shots conceded in the league, all this kind of stuff. They're a bit stodgy going forward. They're really struggling for goals, and I honestly think if we keep a clean sheet, I think we won't lose. It's a bit of a they're really stodgy to even score one goal.
To be fair, if we do keep a clean sheet, there's no chance of us.
Yeah, but because I don't think they'll score. Put it that way. I don't think Southampton will score. So, but it's going to be I think it's going to be really tight, like 0-0, 1-0.
I've got a feeling if we score more goals than they do, we might.
It's interesting.
No, I'll take your point.
It is interesting though, like the way seasons sort of parallel each other, and it was this fixture at this time last year, which was the one we were all worried about. After that run again, I know the run had started before Southampton, and we'd already dipped Arsenal and Everton and that. But nonetheless, this is a big game again. It's very similar to last season. If we win today, and especially if we win with those changes, it really is like, right, okay, we can certainly get third or fourth now.
Schneiderlin's not there. Is big.
Yeah.
It's a big blow for them, and they've also Alderweireld is not playing as well. That's 2 of their best defensive players. So that's got to help us.
Yeah, and the big thing is though, you always go into these games, Kiss, we talk about this, that Pella's not scored in like 8.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like the you know when you see those stats pre-game and you're like, he hasn't scored in 8. And you should take heart from that. You should take heart from that, but you don't. You shit yourself when you hear stats like that.
Well, that's it. The thing is, you know, does every football fan feel the same, or is it just Liverpool fans basically? Because it always seems to be against us that they do something and they break these shitty arse records that they've been having, and it's just the way of the world. I'm sure every football fan thinks the same. I just wanted to quickly check in again. It's now been 19 years, 9 months, 1 day, 23 hours, 20 minutes and 20 seconds since Everton last won the trophy.
Fantastic. Right, let's save that.
Loads of them, by the way, loads of them had left before they got the equaliser then.
Yeah,
there was loads. I was like looking, and it was all the blue, as usual, the blue seats, and it was 2-1, and loads of them missed the equaliser.
Yeah, the rise in popularity of those blue seat costumes, really coming out again. Okay, we've got a little bit of time before the game kicks off. I want to talk a little bit about Adam Lallana. Right, he's looked good at times. I think it's fair to say that he's not fully lived up to the price tag. This is, as much as it's a massive game for us, it's a massive game for him today as well.
Well, he came back from injury, didn't he? He got injured earlier on in the season, to be fair. So that's obviously going to hamper the season in that respect. But again, against his former club, like most of the players in the team today, it's a perfect opportunity for him to come in far. He showed glimpses of it when he scored, when we won 4-1 against Swansea at home. Showed glimpses of his quality. He scored the third there. It was a beautiful goal. But that sort of thing, he needs to. He's a good player. He's a good player, and if he can get the right connections and the right slot-ins, I was looking forward to seeing him with Ricky Lambert, but that's not really worked out in that combination.
Just have to get your Southampton season review DVD from last year if you want to see that one.
But yeah, I think he can definitely fit into this system, and I think he just needs to find a consistency in scoring goals, and I think Coutinho's similar in that respect. He needs to find consistency and start to score goals because he's got that. He needs that finished product.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The Echo did an article on him this week. I don't know if you saw that after the game. I think it was after the game of the weekend. And say like his contribution's as good as anything we've got at the minute. You know what I mean? For his minutes on the pitch and how much impact he has in terms of chances created, assists and goals and what have you. He's performing well, isn't he, Dan? But he's not. As I said at the start there, I don't think anyone could say Lallana's been a success as a Liverpool player so far.
No. I think he's I think he's been a solid 6 out of 10 this season for the season. Yeah. So he's not. People saying, "Oh, he's been dreadful." I'd say, "Well, how is 6 out of 10 player dreadful?" You know, you said, "Well, you know, we want him to be a 9 out of 10 player, or whatever." Yeah. But he's had some good games. He's had some bad games. You know, as you said, in terms of what he's done while he's been on the pitch, he's been one of our most effective players. So I think that counts for something in his, you know.
But I think we need consistency from him, don't we, Neil? And I don't know whether that's consistent. I think is that as much that's the game time he's getting on the pitch. You know, I don't think he's been available for a consistent run of games in his time as a Liverpool player.
Yeah, I think the injuries have certainly hampered him, and the inconsistency. I mean, that is like the key word. What I would say that I get the promise from is that even though he's been inconsistent, you can pick out, say, the Swansea game and the West Brom. He has had man of the match performances, which is to say that there is another level there for him to go to. And I think it's very much like, you know, we're all waxing lyrical about Ibe. Ibe like catches the eye. Different player, obviously, but I think Lallana, with the exception of a couple of games, hasn't been the flair player that maybe he hoped he'd be. But the fact that, you know, he did have the Swansea performance, you know, the goal against West Brom. He has got important goals as well. Yeah. You know, like the goal against Leicester away. You know, he has played a fairly important part in part of the season, and there are players that you can't say that about. Yeah. So that's what sort of elevates him above, say, you know, a lower grade of player that we might not be happy with this season. I think he's been okay, and there's certainly enough there to say that he could.
He's going to be a senior player next season, isn't he? Definitely.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got a little bit of leadership about him. I like that. He's definitely prepared to stand up, and so I think that's because we're losing a lot of experience probably in the summer. So he's going to become one of our most senior players.
It's a strange one, isn't it? Because we were talking in the Besiktas game that we lacked a lot of seniority on the pitch. He's one of our senior players, but he's got no European experience, you know, and that's so it's games like today where he needs to step up and be counted because he was their best player last season, arguably. You know, and he should
as well.
Yeah. But he should be able to come into this game and have the level of impact we expect from him, because if you can't do it against a team that you've technically upgraded from, and I know that seems ridiculous because they're above us in the league, of course, but you know, if he doesn't do it today, I think there's going to, you know, you've got to question.
Well, he's on track, I think, for 9 goals in the season, which, you know, when you think about somebody who doesn't play centre forwards, and you know he's not a second striker either, but you know that's pretty good goals. So you take that at the start of the season,
yeah.
So
I'd have a 10.
10 goals in the season.
But this is what I mean. I think that's what you want.
The midfield was
from those attacking midfielder positions. Yossi Benayoun was a 10 goal there or thereabouts. Their count, you know, that kind of thing. You need that level of contribution. Yeah. I mean, Chris, what do you think? Garcia, exactly. What do you think on Lallana?
I just think he needs a run of games. You know, I think that's what he needs. I think he's a good player. I can see he's probably one of the most natural finishers we've actually got. You know, obviously Sturridge is the most natural finisher, but other than that, from the midfield, he seems to want to score more goals than everybody else. He's got the finishing to do that. He should have got one against Besiktas, obviously, but you know, I think he's really. he knows how we want to play football as well. He's a clever player. He likes to bring other players in. He's just a yard off at the moment. He's one of those players for me that needs a lot of games, and then you'll see the best of him. Most football players are like that, though.
Well, I think it's telling the last few games that he's played and Joe Allen have played, and they've both started to find a good base level. I think, you know, but now like games like today, you can't afford to have that, so you need to push on a little.
But he offers a lot more than Coutinho, a lot more than some of the others. Sorry, not Coutinho, because Coutinho runs his arse to the ground. But he really presses intelligently, Lallana. You know, he tears around, and not like this sort of, you know, the way Mario Balotelli has started to press, but it's like 75%. I'm just doing enough so that everyone can see that I'm pressing, type of thing. Adam Lallana goes for it, like, and he fully goes for it, and he does for 60, 70 minutes. He is just tearing himself silly trying to get the ball back for us. Yeah. And if you watch, he's probably one of the people who does actually win the ball back. Him and Coutinho win it back a lot for us.
Yeah. So just a quick mention here, Scott Howard on the YouTube comment says, Chris, you're looking so sexy today.
As always,
Right, okay, we're gonna wrap up momentarily. Don't forget, we'll be back live at half time as well, so do tune in for that. If you can't find the link, redmentv.com, it's on there, it's embedded there, so you'll find that come hell or high water. Let's have some score predictions. Dan, what do you think it's going to be?
I am going to go 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'll go 1-0 as well.
Right.
3-0 Liverpool.
Go on! Chris, have you changed your opinion any?
I can't remember what I said, so I'm going 2-0 Liverpool.
I think that's what you said. Excellent. I think I went 2-1. If I'm wrong, let me know, of course, in the comments, because that's what we're there for, to basically make us look like dickheads. Like, I don't know if anyone pointed out the target is a fullback and not a centre forward, so my joke fell flat. If not, then never mind.
It fell flat anyway.
It fell flat anyway, so it was fine. I would have gone 2-1 prior to seeing the team. I'm more inclined to go with 1-0, I think, because I don't know whether we've got 2 goals. 2 goals in. Let's see. Let's find out. Anyway, in the comments, let us know your score predictions and any other thoughts. Don't forget to check back in at half time as well for analysis on the first half and looking ahead to the second. And thanks very much for watching and enjoy the game. Cheers.